It was a quiet Saturday morning in our suburban neighborhood. The sun had just broken through the blinds when a hard, authoritative knock rattled our front door. I wasn't expecting anyone. My wife, Sarah, was in the kitchen making coffee, and I was polishing one of my hunting rifles I had taken out from the safe the night before. The knock came again, this time sharper, heavier. "Open up. HOA inspection. We need to speak with you immediately," a voice barked from outside. HOA, Homeowners Association. My gut clenched. Something felt off immediately. The HOA doesn't send inspectors to people's doors like that, and certainly not at 7:30 in the morning. I motioned to Sarah to stay put, but she silently placed her coffee mug down and came closer. Her instincts were sharp. She had spent 8 years in the military, and she could smell trouble before it started. I peeked through the peephole. 2 men stood outside wearing dark blue uniforms that looked suspiciously like police gear, but not quite. Their badges were plastic-looking, clipped awkwardly to their belts. One of them had a clipboard. The other rested his hand casually on a holstered pistol. Something wasn't right. I opened the door just a crack, keeping the chain lock on. "Can I help you?" I asked. "Yeah," the taller one said, flashing his fake badge so quickly I barely caught the details. "We're with HOA Security Enforcement. We've received reports you're storing unauthorized firearms in your residence. HOA regulations forbid that. We need to come inside and inspect your safe." My blood ran cold. Unauthorized firearms. That wasn't an HOA issue, that was a federal or state issue. And even then, no HOA had the authority to confiscate weapons. I played dumb. HOA security. I didn't know that was even a thing. "Do you guys have proper credentials?" The shorter one stepped forward, trying to sound official. "Sir, refusing to comply will result in fines and possible eviction. We'll make this simple. Just open your safe, let us verify, and we'll be on our way." Behind me, Sarah had moved silently into position. I could feel her eyes drilling into the back of my head, silently telling me, "Don't let them in." I stalled, but they started pressing harder. "Sir, step aside. We don't want to escalate this," the tall one growled. Before I could answer, Sarah walked up beside me, calm, controlled. She looked the 2 men dead in the eyes and said, "Which branch?" The fake cops blinked, confused. "What?" She crossed her arms. "You're carrying sidearms. Which branch of service issued that to you?" "Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy." "Go ahead, answer." The silence stretched. The tall one muttered, "That's irrelevant, ma'am. We just need access to your safe." Her lip curled into the faintest smile. "Wrong answer." I watched as Sarah's entire demeanor shifted. Her shoulders squared. Her voice dropped into that commanding tone she used to tell stories about from her deployments. "Listen closely," she said. "I served 8 years in the Army Military Police Corps. I know a real badge when I see one. Yours are fakes. You're impersonating officers, and you've just attempted unlawful entry into my home. That's a federal offense." The color drained from their faces. I tightened my grip on the door. Sarah whispered to me without breaking eye contact with them, "They're not HOA. They're here for the guns." My chest tightened. She was right. Someone must have tipped them off. Maybe they knew I kept a collection in the safe. The tall one tried to recover his composure. "Listen, ma'am, you don't want this to go bad. Just open the safe," and as Sarah cut him off sharply, "take one more step toward this door, and I'll treat it as a home invasion. Do you understand me?" She hadn't raised her voice, but the power in her tone was undeniable. I swear even I felt a shiver run down my spine. The shorter one started shifting nervously. He glanced around, clearly not expecting resistance. That's when Sarah leaned in closer to the doorframe and dropped the final blow. "You idiots picked the wrong house. Next move is mine. Do you want me to call real law enforcement and report to armed men impersonating officers, attempting to seize federally protected property? Because I promise you, if I make that call, you won't walk away free." The silence was thick. The tall one gritted his teeth, but he knew they were caught. Finally, he muttered, "This isn't over." He jerked his head at his partner. "Let's go." They stormed off the porch, muttering under their breath. I watched them through the blinds as they climbed into an unmarked black SUV parked a few houses down. No HOA stickers, no police markings, just tinted windows. Sarah stood there, arms still crossed, eyes locked on the vehicle until it pulled away. Only then did she exhale. I asked, "How did you know?" She smirked, finally softening. "Because real cops don't ask for permission to search, they come with warrants, and HOAs. They don't send goons with guns. Whoever they were criminals. And they were after your safe. We didn't waste time." Sarah called her old military contacts and one of her friends in the local sheriff's department. Within 20 minutes, two deputies arrived. We explained everything, showed them our Ring camera footage, and handed over every detail we had. The deputies confirmed our suspicions. Those weren't HOA reps, they weren't cops either. Sounds like a targeted attempt. Maybe someone knew about your collection. You're lucky you didn't open the door. Sarah gave a half smile. They're lucky they didn't force their way in. The deputies assured us they'd open an investigation, and they left with the video evidence. That night, Sarah and I reinforced the locks, checked the security system twice, and kept our phones nearby. I didn't sleep much, but Sarah did calm, steady, like the soldier she used to be. The irony wasn't lost on me. Those fake cops thought they could intimidate me into handing over my weapons. They assumed I was just another suburban husband, clueless and obedient. But what they didn't know, the game changer, was that my wife wasn't just anyone. She had spent years disarming insurgents in war zones, standing guard over military compounds, and navigating situations 10 times more dangerous than this. To her, those imposters weren't intimidating. They were sloppy, predictable, amateurish. And because of her, they walked away empty-handed.